Hey guys, it's me, Anchor64 again, with another type of guide. This time it's about your best in slot items for every race. So that's what I'm going to talk about in this video. Um, so yeah, that's pretty much the intro. Yeah, feel free to relax, grab something to eat or drink. It's going to be, I think it's not going to be such a long video like the pre-rate this one. These are probably also going to be released at the same time, like the pre-rate this one and the best in slot one. And yeah, like always, if you like the video, give it a like. If you want to see more videos like this, subscribe. Feel free to comment any ideas or something, whatever you want. But let's start with the video actually. So yeah, let's start this time not with human. Let's actually start with dwarf. So with some meme races. So best in slot for the meme races. Actually no, let's not start with the meme race. Let's start with orc. Let's have some also some, so people don't really think I'm that biased towards alliance. So yeah, let's start with the hot one with orc and talk about your best in slot items. So your best in slot items for orc, of course, are going to be very similar to your pre-rate BIS. A lot of it is PvP gear. Some of them get replaced by raid items. So, first item you can look at, of course, Lionheart helmet, as always. I already talked about it in my pre-rate BIS list. We have this neck. So this neck is new. You can get this by the last boss from the group. Hakar drops this, and it's a pretty nice neck. The Eye of Hakar, it gives you 1% critical strike rating and 40 attack power, which is really nice. However, it's pretty new, so it can be maybe kind of annoying to get. However, it is a small upgrade from Onyxia's Tooth Pendant, which was our previous best in slot. Maybe if you are new, this one is pretty easy to get actually nowadays, because a lot of people already have this one, especially if you are in a guild. So yeah, this would be the difference between these is really small. Of course, PvP gear, rank 12, rank 13 shoulders, sorry. Yeah. The cloak one is another one. You have Cloak of the Draconic Might. This one is dropped by the trash in Blackwing Lair. So that's a problem, because it can be really rare. Cloak slot in general is kind of annoying slot we have, because there aren't really a lot of good cloaks. We could get this one, of course. That is our best in slot. Another one that exists is this one. This one, which is dropped by a world boss. As you can see, with Azuros in the genre. So yeah, for people who don't know, world bosses are kind of impossible to get for most guilds. There will be another item I will talk about a bit later. That's also from a world boss that is even more insane than this one. So yeah, world boss items are kind of annoying. Some of them are really good, but for most guilds it's pretty impossible to even get the chance to get these items. Another thing you could get is Block of Fire More, which gives you 50 attack power and drops some Fire More. But yeah, overall you really want to have this one. Okay, go to the next item. Of course, Berserker Bracers. There's always PvP item. Going to talk about alternatives a bit later. We use both PvP weapons. These hands are new. We got them in the group, and of course they are blues. So maybe you would think, okay, why do we use blues? Why is this our best in slot? But when you actually look at the item, 19 strength, sacrificial gauntlets is the name, 19 strength, 1% critical strike, 1% hit chance. So yeah, really insane stats actually for a blue. And the thing is, multiple bosses can drop these. So a lot of bosses in Zul group can drop blues. They have their own
loot pool of blues, and actually they are pretty good. Some of them are really good, and this is one of them, one of these blues, which is really good, and which is our best in slot. It replaced Flame Guard gauntlets. So yeah, actually kind of easy to get. Just to the group, I personally would try to soft reserve these, so you can get them easily. Okay, belt is on stock girdle. Yeah, this item is really insane. I don't know why they made such an insane item in phase 1, but just from the stats alone, 31 strength, 11 stamina, 1% crit, 1% hit. Just from the stats alone, this is just really insane. So yeah, really insane and strong item. Try to focus this, try to get this. You get it from Molten Core by the last boss Ragnaros, of course. But yeah, really contested item. Every plate user wants to have these, so every warrior wants to have these. Tank or not, it's the same. So yeah, legs are PvP legs. Boots are the chromatic boots, which are dropped by Chromagus in Blackwing Lair. Yeah, these replaced the PvP boots we got and are slightly better. So they have similar stats. We have 20 agility, 20 strength, 19 stamina, 1% hit, compared to the general plates boots, which are the PvP ones, which give us more stamina but less strength and less agility. So yeah, they are a bit worse. That's why I use chromatic boots. Also really contested item by every warrior. So good luck trying to get this one. Now let's talk about our 2 rings. We have Quick Strike Ring, which we can also get in Molten Core, which is our best in slot ring for the whole expansion pretty much. It gives us 8 stamina, 5 strength, 1% crit and 30 attack power. So yeah, I don't know what they thought about by making these items in the first raid. I think they weren't really sure what items they should make, because we have really bad items and really strong items like this one. So yeah, the other ring we use is Circle of Applied Force. This one drops in Blackwing Lair, and there are multiple rings you can use. Your second slot of rings are all really close to each other. So I'm going to talk about this also a bit later when I show you another gear set. But yeah, in general, remember your second slot of rings, like Circle of Applied Force, they are all really close to each other. Yeah, so it isn't really that much of a difference. But the Quick Strike Ring, of course, it's above all other rings. Drakefang Talisman. Yeah, Drakefang Talisman is our best in slot trinket. You get that in Blackwing Lair, of course. Built by Rock. And I already made a video about this, but this is a bit of a trap. Drakefang Talisman is a bit of a trap. So I would suggest not really rushing this item and instead trying to get everything else. Why is that? You can also watch my video about that. I talk more in depth about that topic. But yeah, basically they changed some stuff in this new classic version, and Hand of Justice is now really close to Drakefang Talisman. So Hand of Justice pretty much got buffed. So yeah, so don't worry if you can't really get this. Try to get everything else first, pretty much, and then try to go for Drakefang Talisman. Yeah, for our bow slot we use Striker's Mark. There's nothing really comparable in this slot. We have 22 attack power, improves the hit chance by 1%, so really nice stats. There is one thing which is kind of similar, which is the Gurubashi Dwarf Destroyer, which gives us 30 attack power instead, but no hit rating. So this is a new gun. I actually have this one, but yeah, the Striker's Mark is better than this one. And there's also another alternative. I think I can talk about this a bit later. So yeah, this is overall your best in slot which you can get right now as an Orc warrior. So let's talk about a gear set where you would do less PvP actually. So what if you don't really want to get rank 14? What is your option? What can you get instead what can you do instead? So my recommendation is to do it until you are rank 10 at least. So grind PvP until you are rank 10. Of course, rank 14 is of course really nice, but you can also get away if you just grind through rank 10. I'm going to explain why that is, why you should grind at least to rank 10. So basically, as you can see, our gear is kind of pretty much similar, but we have some differences. So let's go through them. First of all, the shoulders. We are not using rank 13 shoulders, we are using the rank 10 shoulders. Champion plate shoulders, these have 17 strength, 1% crit. Of course the names are a bit different if you play Alliance or Horde, but we will get to that. And yeah, this is really insane. So the combination of these shoulders, so that's the first one we are going to replace if you want to do just less PvP. And the other item would be the legs. So we are using Legionnaire plate leggings instead of General's plate leggings. So rank 8 legs instead of rank 12. We don't want to grind that much PvP. Why are we using these legs? These legs have 12 strength, 17 stamina and 2% critical chance. So just along from the stats, these are really insane actually. Just for some blue legs. So yeah, this is actually really strong. Other than that, we can look at the set bonus, which is another thing which is really insane and why that version is really competitive actually. So as you can see, if you have two, so the 2 set bonus gives you 40 attack power. Yeah, 40 attack power is a ton of attack power actually. And it's pretty easy to get. Just use the legs, use the shoulders. You don't really have anything that is really comparable to these. There's one thing I'm going to talk about, that replacement when I talk about the human version, or yeah, the human version. But yeah, that's one thing I would recommend. Grind through rank till rank 10, get the shoulders, get the legs, and yeah, use that instead. You're not really going to replace that until I think AQ, and unless you want to grind more PvP, but that's perfect, reasonable consideration to make. Next one, we have our wrists. So our wrists, we are not using Berserker bracers, we are using wrist guards of stability. In my personal opinion, Berserker bracers are not worth it to grind for. Warsong Gulch Exalted is really annoying to grind for unless you really like it or have a really good pre-made team. Other than that, if you slightly detest doing that, grinding till Exalted, don't do it. Just try to get these wrist guard of stability, which gives us 24 strength, 8 stamina, which drops in Molten Core from a lot of different bosses, and these are really pretty comparable to Berserker bracers. So yeah. Okay, now one of the most important slots, of course, our weapons. So we aren't using rank 14 weapons, since we are only grinding till rank 10. So what do we use instead? We use Deathbringer and Cool Shorak Edge of Chaos. So Deathbringer drops from Onyxia actually, so one of the earliest raids, the earliest raid actually. But yeah, the X is actually really insane. Really slow, 2.99 speed for one-hander, and has that proc which does some bonus shadow damage. But yeah, the damage is really good on this weapon, so we use that as our main hand, and also our offhand we use the new X. Yeah, not really new X, but which is dropped by Nefarian, which has also really nice stats. 13 stamina, 36 attack power, 101 till 188 damage, 62 DPS. And 2.3 speed, so it's a really fast X actually, but has really high damage. So yeah, we are using that. Combination, both of these are our best in slot if we are not PvPing. Yeah. Other than that, the other things are pretty much the same. I already talked about them, like gauntlets, onslaught girdle, chromatic boots, everything is the same. But like I said, this is a more reasonable version of your best in slot items. especially if you don't really want to grind till rank 14. Okay, this was for Orc. Let's go look at another race. Let's look at human. So human, pretty similar to this one here. So this is the best in slot for humans. Everything is the same. We are using also PvP gear, like the same as the Orc version, but just for Alliance. So it looks different, has different names, but it's the same thing. As well as Berserker bracers, everything's the same. But of course we are using swords. So we are using rank 14 swords instead of rank 14 axes, because we are human and we have sword specialization. So yeah, that's the thing. Okay, next thing, let's look at something else. What would we do? What's a thing we can do if we aren't doing PvP? What should we do? What should our gear look like? So this is another version we have when we should do less PvP. So this is pretty similar. Again, same thing. Grind through rank 10 till rank 10 and use the shoulders and legs. And you have that set bonus and you have these nice stats you can use. Everything else is the same as the Orc version, but our weapons are a bit more interesting actually. So theoretically this would be your best in slot weapons, and I think this even beats out rank 14 weapons. But I put it in here just to talk about it, because so no one can say, oh, I forgot about this weapon. No, I didn't, but it's not really reasonable to get. So what I'm talking about, I'm talking about the Empyrean Demolisher. So this weapon is really, really insane. This is an insane weapon. This is pretty much a next Ramus level weapon. Also what it stays on Wowhead. So I just copied that from there. But as you can see, 2.8 speed. It has no stats, but it gives us a chance on hit to increase our attack speed by 20% for 10 seconds. So attack speed is something that is really rare in Classic. Will become much more available in TBC, but in Classic it's pretty rare, and that is really, really insane of a weapon for us. DPS isn't really that high, but the proc alone makes this weapon really, really broken for us. So what is the problem? Why can't we get this weapon? It drops from a world boss. It drops from Kazakh, and maybe guess. Yeah. Drops from Lord Kazakh in Blasted Lands, and that's exactly the problem we have. Like I said previously, world bosses are not really something the majority of us can get. There's only a small amount of people who can even get world bosses. I think I only saw this weapon once on a warrior. The whole time I was pretty much playing, but yeah, pretty much impossible to get. So what's a more realistic version of this? More realistically, we would use something like this. Chromatically tempered swords, and we are using an offhand Maladaf. Maladaf. Blade of the Black Flight. So this one has no enchant. Interesting. Yeah. So this is a more realistic version, of course. We are using 2 swords because we are humans, and we can benefit from the weapon skill. Both of these weapons drop from Blackwing Lair. Maladaf from Chromatically Tempered Sword from Chromagus, and Maladaf drops from Broodwort Lash Layer. Both of these swords are really nice, so let's go over them. Chromatically Tempered Sword, 2.6 speed sword, nice DPS of 85.5, 14 agility, 14 strength, 7 stamina. Really nice stats, plus in general does really high damage. So yeah, it's a really nice sword. Maladaf is our offhand because it's a much faster weapon. It has, of course, lower damage. It has pretty much the same DPS. Yeah, not really same DPS, but lower DPS. And it has the effect of increase your chance to parry an attack by 1%, not really relevant to us. Increases swords +4, which is a bit relevant for us, but not really that relevant. So what the sword bonus gives is, this would pretty much give us more chance that our attacks hit and the enemy can dodge. Above 305 weapon skill, but it's not really something that matters that much. So yeah, we only want this because it has really nice stats, it's pretty fast, you can use it as our offhand, and yeah, there aren't really any swords on that level. Okay, everything else is pretty much the same. So yeah, not really much to be said about this. I already talked about most of this on the Orc, when I talked about Orc warriors, but yeah. So let's go to the meme race. What are we using when we are playing a meme race? So what I mean by that is if you are playing anything else than an orc or a human. So like I said, this can be in dwarf, this can be in tauren, troll, undead, unliked elf, gnome, whatever. I don't know why you would play gnome, however. Like, why would you do that? Yeah, I'm just joking. Like I said, I'm not racist. Okay, let's look at our best in slot first of all. So our best in slot is pretty much the same as all the other races, but we are using edge masters. So yeah, even here we can't escape edge masters. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So we use rank 14 swords and use edge masters. Why are we using swords and not axes or something else? They are pretty much the weapons we can nicely get. 2.9 speed, 1.8 speed. There's a reason why we don't want to have swords that have the same weapon speed. It's a bit complicated, but basically it makes our gameplay a lot less consistent, and we need to use some tricks, pretty much desync them, so they are on a different timer. But I will probably make a separate video for that issue, so you can understand it a bit better. But yeah, so that's why we always want to have different speeds for our swords, so we don't run into that problem. For example, I don't know if maybe some people remember, but I think you best in slot in Wrath of the Lich King in phase 1 was the 2 axes you got from Helfuzard. What was that called again? Actually, let me look them up. I know this is a bit weird that I'm talking about that, but whatever. Helfuzard. I wanna see. No, it was not Death Spite. Yeah, Betrayal of Humanity, of course, I forgot the name. I think you use 2 of them as a Fury Warrior, and the problem is you have, of course, the same attack speed, so you need to use some macros and some other things to desync them. Yeah, bit of a different topic. Let's get to this main topic again, sorry for that. But yeah, let's talk about what should be your best in slot if you don't want to do a lot of PvP. Again, same thing as the other one, but still we are using edge masters. So yeah, that didn't change. What only changed is again we are using rank 10 shoulders and rank 8 legs. We are using wrist guards of stability, and we are using swords. So we use chromatically tempered sword and Maladoff, and we use edge masters in combination. So now the question could be, why aren't we using axes instead? Because I said previously the axes have really a lot of damage. We could use axes. Just because we are maybe playing a dwarf, we have edge masters, so we get enough weapon skill. I actually simmed both of them, and these swords beat out the axes. That's just so you know. Actually, there's a mistake here. I forgot to add this. So yeah. I did simulation, and also this. Why did I forget to do that? I don't know. I think I copied something wrong. Let me look if I forgot anything else. No, I didn't. Okay. So yeah, this is our best in slot. We use swords. If we don't, even with a meme race, we still use swords, but with edge masters. Of course, if we don't want to use that, if we don't want to use edge masters, maybe we don't have the gold. What could we use? Yeah, that's
kind of difficult question to ask. There are multiple things you can actually do. So one thing, let's say we don't have edge masters. Let's say we have these ones. So now we are kind of screwed because we don't have enough weapon skill. What can we do? One thing, probably one of the easier things, but you can still do some damage with it, is use the Warblade set. I don't know if anyone recommended this one, but this could be an option for you. There aren't really a lot of people who are talking about meme races, such as anything else as human or orc. So yeah, I'm going to do that. No problem. So yeah, you can use this set, and you get +6 in swords, and you have enough weapon skill by that. Problem is, the main hand is really fast. The offhand is also really fast. They don't really have a lot of damage. That's because they are really fast, of course. They are still really nice, and they look really nice, even though this one doesn't glow, for whatever reason. You can see they are on your back. Yeah, I don't know why they don't glow. That's kind of lame. Whatever. But yeah, you can use these. You get +6 swords, so that would be an option for you. Okay, what other options do we have? Instead of this, we can use daggers. That's also an option. But if you want to use daggers, we need to look if we can get any weapon skill actually. So we can get H-core leather gloves. We can use these. So those give us +5 daggers, and with that we can use daggers. So now I need to look up what daggers we could use, because I don't know if I remember those right. I'm pretty sure use Perdition's Blade, but let's look. Maybe use the one from ZG as well. Okay, let's filter them. Why not? So I only want to have daggers. Yeah, I don't think this video is that long, so I can ramble a bit. No problem. Is this one a good one? Compared to Perdition's Blade. Well, it does a lot more damage. 16 agility. Oh, this is 1.9 speed. It's actually really nice, but it doesn't do a lot of damage. So yeah, you have different options actually. So in your previously dagger set would have been this one. So use Perdition's Blade and Horn Tooth. Yeah, so this combo is really nice because you got a lot of damage out of it. 20 attack power and 1% crit with Horn Tooth. Good Perdition's Blade as this. Maybe you would replace this one with Dragonfang Blade. And instead of Horn Tooth, you would use... where's the other one? This one's the new one. Maybe you would use this instead. This has 1% crit, 28 attack power and a lot more damage. But the problem is it is really fast. Oh yeah. Really slow, sorry. Oh, yeah, let's look at these. Yeah, you would probably switch this. Yeah, probably you would use this on your main hand and this in your offhand. Even though this one does more damage. Yeah, daggers are kind of strange. You need to mix and match a bit. Personally, I would recommend, if you are playing, save up for an Edge Masters and try to buy that instead. Because playing around this is kind of annoying. Or what I would recommend is try to get the Warblade set. Yeah, I set it on daggers, didn't I? Can I reset that? Nope. Okay, let me do this. So yeah. Try to go for the Warblade set maybe. If you don't want to buy Edge Masters, maybe you don't have any gold. Let's go for that one. And you are set with your swords. With your weapon skill. Because there's also another reason. If you go for daggers, a lot of different classes are probably going to be mad about you. Some of these daggers are really nice on rogues, of course, and they're also really nice on hunters. which also use them. So yeah, but these blades are not really contested by a lot of people. The offhand is contested, kinda contested, because it's a really good weapon for multiple classes. It's really nice actually. Just base 40 attack power is really insane and has nice damage and nice speed for an offhand. Main hand not so much. Mostly can be used by tanks because it's really fast. It has 1% crit, 28 attack power, but yeah. So that's the thing. I think this is reasonable. You can get if you don't want to get Edge Masters. Overall, I would recommend to just get Edge Masters, and then you can also roll on the other items as well. So yeah. Okay. So that's pretty much what your best in slot items are. I talked about some of the replacements you can get. Of course. Oh yeah, I forgot to talk about rings. I'm going to do that right now. So your rings, I talked about that a bit. Quick Strike ring is pretty much your best in slot till TBC. That ring's really insane. However, your second ring, there are multiple options you can go for. Of course, you can go for this, Circuit of Applied Force. This is even stronger on Alliance because of Kings. However, there are also other rings you can go for. For example, Master Dragon Slayer ring, which gives you 1% hit, 48 attack power, which you can get by turning in Neferen's head. So yeah, you can try to get this one. Other than that, there's also another ring here. If I can find it, where is it? Can find it? Yeah, I think this one was it. Yeah, Akamira's Ring of Reckoning. I also try to get this one. Yeah, you have kind of different options. What you can also go for is you can also get Don Julio's Band, which gives you 1% hit, 1% crit, 16 attack power. So yeah, the second ring slot, they are all really close to each other, so it's not really that important. Definitely try to grab a quick strike ring, however. That's really the important ring you want to get. Okay, other things I talked about. I think I talked about this. I don't know really. Maybe yeah, whatever. Yeah, Striker's Mark, you get that in Molten Core. You can also try to get this. This is a new gun which gives you 30 attack power, so 8 attack power more, but it doesn't give you hit. So yeah, it's worse than Striker's Mark in that in that situation. But still, it's really good weapon, really good stat stick for you, and you can try to get this instead of Striker's Mark. Also, there's another weapon here, a Blaster Shot Launcher, which gives you 1% crit instead. But yeah, it doesn't give you any attack power, so it's worse than Gulbashi Dwarf Destroyer and worse than Striker's Mark, because we still want to also have some attack power. Yeah, crit is kind of overrated a bit. You can, like not really, yeah, you can kind of get a lot of crit from everywhere, so you also want to have some damage as well. Okay, yeah, one other thing I want to mention is your belt. You can't get on-stock girdle because it's really contested. We have a new belt that came out of Zoo Group, which is really easy to get, which is this one. So I also talked in my warrior guide about this belt. You get this in Zoo Group. You need to be honored, and some bosses can drop a token which you can turn in and can just get this belt. So this is pretty much the Temu version of on-stock girdle. It's of course worse than on-stock girdle, like by 25%. I think that's the number that's mentioned on Wowhead. But yeah, it's still a really nice belt. I currently have this one. But yeah, the next belt you would get is on-stock girdle, of course. You can also try to get this one. This is way easier to get, to be honest. Just to Zur Group, maybe SR this one. I would recommend to SR this one. Try to get this one. Another one is, for example, also these ones. These are also really nice. It's another token from Zur Group you can try to get. Of course, they are worse than these ones, but yeah, also another option you could go for. Okay, I think I talked about everything so far. Yeah, there's not really anything else. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comments. And if you have anything else to say, feel free. If you like these kinds of videos, of course, give me a like, subscribe, whatever, the usual spiel. And yeah, of course, if you didn't like it, dislike it, do whatever. I'm going to continue to do more videos and such. Yeah, I'm always open to everything if you have any ideas or something. So yeah, I hope you had fun. I hope you could learn something, or maybe it was useful for you or whatever. And I see you on the next video. Have a great day. Bye.